here today to announce our next fundraising dinner to further pursue and to bear the expenses for the case in the French courts, which you all know that it's ongoing. So since our fund is depleting, we need more funds to cover the legal fees and the legal cost which is involved in this case. And the dinner that we are planning is going to be held on the 15th June, which is Friday, at 7:30 Dewan Civic MBPJ Petaling Jaya. And SUARAM aims to raise RM300,000 from the fundraising dinner to cover the legal costs as lawyers who are working tirelessly to ensure the success of this case in France. And the dinner will be held in PJ, Dewan Civic, and Cynthia Gabriel, our SUARAM director, and our French lawyer, Joseph Braham, will be speaking at the dinner, and also two political leaders, Saudara Mat Sabu, and also members of Parliament Tian Chua and Tony Pua, will address the latest developments surrounding the case. There will also be an auction to facilitate the funds and booth for NGOs to get the message and campaign forward. And for your information, the table is as follows. Table A is RM10,000 ringgit, Table B RM5,000 ringgit, Table C RM1,000 ringgit. And we also encourage individual minimum donation of the sum of 100 ringgit from the public to support this case. Donations can also be made to SUARAM via check or online transfer to name of account Suara Inisiatif Sendirian Berhad. The name of the bank is Maybank Berhad, and our account number is 5122-9582-0324. And for further inquiries, you can contact suaram.net or contact SUARAM at 03-7784-3525. You can contact Sarah at 013-347-0860 for further details with regard to the tickets and the tables to be sold on that day. So that is with regard to the fundraising dinner, and I would hand over the press conference to Ms. Cynthia Gabriel to address the latest development of the case.
Thank you all for coming. We know that because we announced this as a press conference to announce the dinner, many of you thought you can pick it up from the press statement. But we also want to say thank you to you for coming, because it is a very important press conference, mainly also to address some of the reactions that we have seen after the Bangkok press conference. So far, you know that the mainstream media has an almost 100% blackout of this very, very high-profile scandal. Now, your guess is as good as mine why they choose not to report it. But the fact of the matter is that this is a really explosive scandal of a very high nature that requires immediate attention of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, of the police, and of the government of the day. So we urge once again that the Chinese media step forward as champions of the mainstream media to report developments of this case. And of course, for social media, online media such as Malaysia Kini, which is present today, to also continue exposing and continue reporting on what is said to be one of the biggest scandals of the century, involving no less than our Prime Minister and former Defence Minister, Najib Razak. So with that, there were some accusations made in the blogs and in several websites about SUARAM being a Jewish-funded outfit. Now, we have heard this lamentation before, we have heard this accusation before, and we're very disappointed to say that it has been used once again whenever there is no other argument to attack a particular issue that is being exposed. We are, after all, a human rights organization. You know that we are a very under-resourced, small human rights organization. But we are big when it comes to speaking the truth, when it comes to revealing human rights violations, and when it comes to upholding human rights. And this is exactly what we're doing. We are being whistleblowers. We're taking on the role as whistleblowers because something has come to our attention, and we have to reveal it to all concerned Malaysians. So we urge once again for the cooperation of the media to report the upcoming fundraising dinner, because we are not funded by any Yahudi outfit. In fact, this Scorpene campaign is, sorry for the noise. This Scorpene campaign is 100% funded by Malaysians and Malaysian taxpayers' money. And we're going to try our very best to ensure that it will be Malaysians and only Malaysians that will fund this campaign, knowing very well that what we're trying to highlight and what we're trying to expose here is the misuse and abuse of Malaysian taxpayers' money. So we have a very positive response so far from the members of the public with regard to this dinner. We do plan to sell out all the tickets by early next week. So we urge all interested members of the public to come forward. Tickets are still up for grabs. I think we have passed the halfway mark of selling tickets, and we urge that more and more concerned Malaysians tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your families that something like this is going to take place on the 15th of June at 8 p.m. at the Civic Center. Why is this important? Because there will also be a further revelation and a further expose that will be revealed on that day. Now, we are in the process of working to undertake the judicial investigation in France at a more advanced level. And so this requires greater litigation costs. This requires greater time and effort from our lawyers and greater attention from the lawyers in France. And so we know that the judge has more or less given a 3-year framework, more or less, for the completion of the investigation at this level, before it could move to a higher level or before it could move to the next hierarchy in the French judicial system. So what's going to be very important is that we sustain the case. We sustain the case. And it's going to be very difficult to sustain a public litigation case like this. But we sustain it as much as possible with Malaysian taxpayers' money. And we also know that before the general elections, there is going to be a heightened response from the public. And after that, there may be a dive in the interest. But we hope not, because we know that the case will move from strength to strength, and that we are also informed by the lawyers that the first level of investigations are already taking place on this new company called Terasasi in Hong Kong, as well as the issuing of subpoenas will follow quite soon after. So we hope once again that before I end this press conference that you will play your part in highlighting the details, the bank details, the number of tables, and so on and so forth. And we thank you again for coming to this press event. Thank you. And I also like to mention the presence of the Scorpene fundraising committee. Despite it being a working day and everyone has jobs, they've taken time out to come to this event. So the energy of volunteers, the energy and interest of Malaysians at large has been very encouraging and inspiring for all of us in SUARAM. Thank you.
Any questions?
So yeah, I know you don't really want to ask questions about the dinner. I already
It's more on the
got some
case.
questions about the expose. So go ahead.
From what you said just now, that the first level of the investigation has already carried So what would, I mean, should there is the truth that they are really selling out the, I mean, what kind of investigation is on this company?
I think just to repeat, the judge in France, they have both investigative and they have investigative powers as well as powers to try witnesses. So what he is executing now is his investigative powers in actually looking and deepening his knowledge on the money trail that has gone to Hong Kong. Because the money trail that has gone to Hong Kong, if you look at the Bangkok press conference, we have copies of today's press statement and the Bangkok press statement for you. You will find that what is so shocking about Terasasi, first of all, is that Terasasi is a secret company that was never revealed to any Malaysian, that was never revealed to any member of parliament or any of the parliamentary sessions that have been held before. So it is a shock, it's a complete shock to discover that there is more than one company called Perimekar. There is now another company called Terasasi who was formed in Malaysia, and then the branch in Malaysia closed. And what happened after that was they opened a cawangan, a branch in Hong Kong. What were the operations of Terasasi? No one really knows. Who are the directors of Terasasi? We know so far that it involves Abdul Razak Baginda and his father. And what kind of income expenditure statements they issued on an annual basis, and how they complied with the Companies Act in Hong Kong is still being investigated by the judge. So the whole nature of operations of Terasasi is still mysterious, it's still secret. And the fact that Terasasi has been receiving regular payments from Thales International Asia, one of the shipbuilding companies, goes to show that there is a clear relationship that Terasasi holds in the whole procurement process. And there was also an urgent note that was signed by a signature called Razak, as you know, for urgent monies to be banked into the Terasasi bank account. So this is what is being investigated by the judge, and this is what is being further detailed out, as in what really were the operations. And for your information, if any of you have friends in Hong Kong or your officers with correspondents in Hong Kong, you may want to investigate, because Terasasi has an operating address, and it is still a functional organization. But what has been of greater surprise and of great shock to all Malaysians was the fact that Terasasi had sold a very secret document belonging to the Royal Malaysian Navy, amounting to 36 million euros. And this is what was revealed by the French lawyer Joseph Braham in Bangkok, that Terasasi had sold something that did not belong to them, that was a possession of the Malaysian government, and one that was under the Official Secrets Act, to a competitor, to a competitive company who was bidding for the procurement process, in which Malaysia was out to buy 2 battleships in the form of a submarine program. So this is being investigated by the judge, and we understand that the judge is taking steps to further scrutinize the money transactions that have been made to Terasasi. And once this information is made known to us, we will be very sure to reveal the details of the progress of the inquiry to all Malaysian media.
And if I may add to that point, today the spokesperson for the Malaysian Navy was asked on this selling of top secret document to French company, and he said no comment. So up until now, there's no response from the government, official response with regard to the allegations and with regard to the contents of the documents that we have revealed so far.
And we also understand that a police report, or more than one police report, has been lodged ever since this revelation of the fact that Terasasi had sold a state secret to the French shipbuilding company. So several police reports have been lodged, and the police have not yet taken action. They have not yet opened any investigation. And we ask the question again, why? Why the silence? Why the omission to actually begin the commitment to investigate something as serious as this? And SUARAM is again very regretful and disappointed at the response of the Malaysian government in seemingly wanting to dispose of the matter by making comments like no comments. And this is not going to get us very far. And again, it is a great disappointment that a foreign country would take steps to investigate how Malaysian taxpayers' money has been used and abused, whereas we continue to keep our silence, and it makes a mockery out of the whole process of democracy, good governance, and transparency that is being touted and that is being spoken about by the current administration.
And it also makes a mockery out of the fact that we are a party to the UN Convention Against Corruption. So under that convention, we have the obligation to cooperate with the whole investigation, and also to take our own initiative to investigate with regard to this corruption scandal. But nothing has been done so far.
So as not to repeat the very big press conference that was held in Bangkok, and I think we all know why we had to go to meet our lawyer rather than our lawyer come to meet us, because the partner of Joseph Graham was deported unceremoniously in July last year. But very important to also just highlight a little bit of what the exposés revealed, that it was not just the Abdul Razak Baginda factor in this whole procurement process that startled us. We also found that people in very high places, like the former finance minister Tun Daim Zainuddin, also had his hand in it. And also the fact that UMNO was a clear beneficiary of many of the commissions that were made up to Malaysians. This was released in another confidential report. So please have a look again at this one called French Submarines Diving Malaysia into Deep Controversy, because several of the exposés are embedded in it, if your paper has not already reported it. But we urge you to keep some space to report about the dinner details, because this is going to be a Malaysian people's event, an event for the public to come get updated, to come and hear for themselves what Joseph Graham has to say, and to hear another very damning development of the case, which we will keep until Friday next week.
MalaysiaKini.com.
For the Malaysia Kini.